Oh, Marina, she just keeps knocking it out of the park, doesn't she? Yo, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you are all doing well, friends. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I see what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, but more importantly, asking for yours. Today, Chelsea are making yet more sales in the transfer market, racking up the peas, man. Serious, loads and loads of money coming in. Chelsea having a massive clear out. We'll be referencing a Football.London article. And could Chelsea look to strengthen bitter rivals Tottenham Hotspur by selling them Kurt Zouma? Surely not. Lots to get into. Make sure you're comfortable, settle in, subscribe, if you want to, that is, but please do drop a like, as it does help me out a lot. Thank you, friends, for dropping likes on my videos. You know, it means a lot to me, helps me out, so cheers. This video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. Football is back. Full flowing all over the gaff, and you can keep locked in and have every detail straight to your phone by checking out OneFootball for completely free. That's right, not a single penny will be lost in the acquisition of OneFootball, giving you everything you need: scorelines, statistics, lineups, transfer news. Click the link in the description to go check out OneFootball for free. Right then, let's get into it. Kurt Zouma, seemingly the forgotten man under Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea Football Club, retaining some value as an asset, and Chelsea would be very interested in cashing in on Zouma and making even more money in this transfer window. We're going to talk about how much money they could generate and beyond in the next part of this story, but let's talk about Kurt Zouma for a moment. I've spoken about him many times here on Football Therapy, how I'm a huge fan of his in terms of his old school throwback defensive ability, but also his personality. Boy, what a guy Kurt Happy Zouma is. Obviously, Chelsea released that short film on him. I think it's The Pride, that series they do, and he calls Chelsea his house, his home, and it gives you the warm fuzzies, and you're like, yeah, man, not only are you one of us, you're one of the best penalty box defenders there is. Good in both boxes, wins all aerial duels, good for a goal, superb at tackling, superb at clearing the ball. But these are all traits of a very old school defender. It's like, and some people might just be like, bro, that's defending. But it's like goalkeeping. You can be a really good shot stopper, which people think, yes, that's goalkeeping, stopping the goal from going in. But these days, it's not enough. You got to be able to claim the ball, you got to be able to do fast distribution, you got to be able to do accurate long distribution, you got to be able to have the ball at your feet comfortably and receive the ball in tight spaces. This is what you need to be able to do now. And seemingly as well, not seemingly, the fact is with a defender, you don't just make like headers and tackles and stuff. You've got to be able to do all this other stuff. You've got to be able to press from the back. You've got to be able to pass quickly. Again, receive the ball in tight spaces. Just be a passing and pressing central midfielder. Midfielder? Defender is what I'm talking about, Jan. So, you know, when you see these comparisons with, or perhaps links to Jules Koundé, who might not be good at certain things, but he's got all these modern attributes for a defender of pressing and passing and, you know, occupation of the appropriate space for passing football, you know? Though it's sad, Kurt Zouma not fancied by Thomas Tuchel, much like Tammy Abraham, good at what they do in certain things, but not good at the systemic play that coach Thomas Tuchel requires for his winning machine. And like all of his decisions, who are we to question that? Friends, he seems to know what he's doing. But would we want to give a good defender to Tottenham Hotspur? Would, you know, a guy in Kurt Zouma who's just said Chelsea is my house, is my home, would he want to go to Tottenham? I don't think he would. Bearing in mind he's already rejected West Ham, which sort of made a lot of sense for me. A club playing in the Europa League, they're in a higher European competition than Tottenham. It would have given him good money. He said no. Let's read this article from Sky Sports. Tottenham are interested in signing Kurt Zouma from Premier League rivals Chelsea. The 26-year-old is one of a number of defenders Tottenham are currently looking at. On Friday, it was reported Spurs are in talks to sign Fiorentina's Nicola Milinkovic. Earlier this month, Sky Sports News reported Zouma's preference is to remain in London, amid interest from West Ham. The centre-back is West Ham's primary target, with the Frenchman open to a move to the London Stadium, although difficulties lies in the valuation, with Chelsea thought to want in the region of £25 million and Zouma's wages. Alright, well this is already conflicting to what we've previously read from certain reputable publications saying that he'd actually rejected West Ham. I think ex-West Ham employee said that as well, that he rejected West Ham. And he is probably more reputable than Sky Sports at this point. Chelsea have also been exploring using Zouma as part of a deal to sign Sevilla's Jules Koundé. If a deal cannot be struck for Zouma, the 26-year-old is happy to remain at Chelsea, where his contract runs until 2023. Zouma was an unused substitute in Chelsea's opening Premier League win over Crystal Palace on Saturday, and he played 66 minutes in their UEFA Super Cup victory over Villarreal. Yeah, proper bit part player, but for a guy who's won trophies in his Chelsea career and obviously gone to places like Everton and Stoke and been the main man and played week in, week out, and he's 26, you think that desire would be there to just play a lot. You know, especially when you're used to playing a lot. Last season, he made 24 Premier League appearances, scoring 5 times, although he only started on 8 occasions after Thomas Tuchel took over. He was also an unused sub for the 5 games of Chelsea's Champions League winning campaign. Yeah, so he played a few, games last season, largely under Frank Lampard, who really liked Kurt Zouma. He fought tooth and nail so he would stay at Chelsea and not be sold on a permanent to Everton. Tuchel, I think, is probably happy to utilise him a little bit here and there, but very much as a backup centre-back, and probably would prefer his backup to be a little bit more in the mould of how he likes his centre-backs to be. I think he would have given Chelsea the all clear to sell him, provided, they bring in a Jules Koundé, and also Trevor Chalobah comes in, throwing all kinds of spanners in the works. We'll see what happens. I think Chelsea are very interested in selling Kurt Zouma still. 2 years left on his deal, probably won't extend as things stand, so they will retain the most value from him this summer, although they probably still get a few quid for him even when he's only got a year left, because seemingly Marina Granovskaya does that, gets a lot of value out of players with just 12 months left on their deal. Eden Hazard for 160 million euros. Right then, let's talk about sales and transfer market, because yes, of course, we're upcoming to more football. We've got Romelu Lukaku in the house, but the window is still open. Chelsea are making incredible amounts of money, and potentially they could make more signings. So let's go on to the second part of the video. Boom, boom, boom. As things stand, I think Chelsea have made about £93 million in sales, which is incredible, yet they still have so many players they want to get out the door. Chelsea had a squad of 43, 44 players returning in pre-season to Thomas Tuchel's training camp, and that must have been rather overwhelming. And remember, we are in a very difficult and turbulent climate when it comes to trying to sell footballers or trying to loan footballers. So many clubs are skint and they simply can't do it. So a club like Chelsea, who have fully stocked shelves, that's trying to flog some stuff here, struggling, mate. Absolutely struggling. We're about to dip into an article from Football.London looking at how Chelsea are going to tip their sales total over the top of 100 million and beyond. Let's have a little read. Chelsea are set to take their summer transfer earnings to over £100 million, with winger Kennedy reportedly close to leaving the club. The Brazilian has long been our favourite at Stamford Bridge, having been sent out on 5 consecutive loan spells since his arrival from Fluminense in 2015. He made just 27 appearances for the Blues in that time, with the majority of those coming during the 2015-16 campaign under Mourinho. Since then, he's left on spells to Watford, Newcastle and the Premier League, while also he spent the last 2 seasons in La Liga with Getafe and Granada. Yeah, Kennedy, remember him? Left back, left winger, right winger, left midfielder. What was he? I actually had high hopes for him at one point. Now he could be set to seal a return to his former club, with reports from Brazilian journalist Vin Casagrande stating that Fluminense have agreed a deal to sign the 25-year-old on a season-long loan. The Brazilian club also reportedly retains the right to purchase him outright for €10 million. £8.5 million. Should he impress back in his homeland? The Blues have already earned huge amounts from sales of the likes of Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Mark Gurhey, with the academy trio having moved to Roma, Milan and Crystal Palace respectively. Those numbers have been supplemented by the relatively modest transfer fees that the club have managed to earn from the sales of Olivier Giroud, Tino Livramento, Darnell Simu, Lewis Bay and more. With all those taken into account, plus Kennedy, means they have received over £100 million in payments this summer, with this number likely to grow. True, also Fabrizio Romano tweeting out about Tamuri Bakayoko also going out the door. Chelsea can make a lot of money. I'm talking beyond 110 million. Remember, people like Jurgen Klopp has been out here slating Chelsea, talking about our big spend. Yes, we've spent a lot of money on Romelu Lukaku, but we've earned it back and more. Lest we forget, Chelsea are in fact the champions of Europe and have Champions League earnings that they'll be yet to touch, as well as the campaign qualification for next season. So really, looking at it, we actually had a smaller net spend than Liverpool, yet Jurgen Klopp, that's not in his... It's not his prerogative to say that though, is it? True, Chelsea are big spenders, but we are big earners as well. In the transfer market, even in a depreciated market at the moment, Chelsea still find value. Chelsea still generate value. We can comfortably buy Romelu Lukaku for £97 million and more apparently, especially if the sales keep coming in. Kennedy, Bakayoko, out the door. And not only is this generating much wanted value, or much wanted money, it's also trimming down this squad and finally getting a grip on the Premier League squad, or the Chelsea squad rather, knowing who's where, if they have any if we have any intention on playing them. A manager like Thomas Tuchel actually has a gauge of who's where, what's where, what he wants to use, who he wants to use. Do you see what I mean? Rather than these previous managers that are just like, I want to use these 13 players, you do what you want with a loan army, and it's just chaos. It's good that Thomas Tuchel wants a handle on who's available and who's on loan, and if he says, I'm never going to use this guy, I've got a long-term plan here, suddenly Chelsea, Marina Granovskaya have got an inclination, alright, well, let's do what we can to sell this guy, let's keep Tuchel happy, let's start long-term planning. Ding ding. Guys, what do you think? How do you feel about Chelsea's transfer business? If we were to sign a defender, or do you even want us to sign a defender or a midfielder? Because there are reports suggesting that Chelsea are likely to look within for that fourth choice midfielder. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below how amped are you for this weekend's game, Romelu Lukaku's debut, hopefully. Let's start a conversation down in the comments section below. If you want to help me out, please do consider dropping a like on this video. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you're new, if you want to. But hey, enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.